I don't think what you said is accurate with all due respect. Like in a way, although I'm not denying that like there like I said, there's definitely situations of people, but I'm just saying like what LSD actually is and how it functions. Like I know some of the most intelligent people on earth that have done LSD hundreds, if not thousands of times, high doses, and they have their lives together and are some of the most intelligent people I've ever met. So
You're
just
saying
showing.
it was cut? It was cut with something? I guess that's a possibility. Yeah, for sure.
Well, there's a lot of things now that are sold as LSD on the market that are not LSD. Way more now so than ever before. Like there's something called bromo dragonfly. There's something called N-Bohm. These are the chemical names, and they are active in the microgram dosage, which means you can put them on like blotter paper and therefore pass it off as LSD, but it's not LSD. Now, I'm not saying that they had that or whatever, but yeah, dude, there's a lot of other chemicals that are sold, unfortunately. So yeah, like did they have real LSD and stuff? And then, I mean, LSD is very powerful too. Like if they don't have the right support, like, but you'd have to, maybe define what you meant by. But yeah, they could have taken something else. Yeah, that could be the case. It's possible.
Well, I remember when we were young, right? We used to do all this crazy stuff, and we had one particular guy that he did the same, shall we say, acid like everybody else did, and he ended up like turning almost schizo now. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was.
Listen, that's not the acid, my guy. That's a history of his fucking family that has fucking psychological issues and fucking whatever, right? And the schizophrenia came out when he took the acid, my guy. This is like 1 in 100,000 chance that'll happen to people. And this is a known thing. Friend, that's not the acid, it's the fucking person's brain. So he's already naturally fucked up. You guys just didn't know it, right? But when he took the acid, the fucked up came out of him. You're welcome. The acid helped you guys.
I'm gonna
That may
mostly
be
in
the
a way.
case. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna in a lot of ways agree with like the principles of what you're saying there. Because, for example, I see like there's something called it's called holotropic breath work, and it's a form of breath work that Stanislav Grof had developed after like he was doing a lot of the research with these LSD and mushrooms and so on. It all got made illegal, and then he wanted to continue the work, so he developed. It's a breathing practice, a breathing technique. But when you do this breathing, you do it for like 2 or 3 hours when you do a session. So I mean, it's a long session, and when you do this type of breathing, you enter into a very similar state that LSD, mushrooms, etc., and all the same range of experiences people have doing the breathing as they do with the LSD and so on. So it shows that it's coming from within them. It's not the LSD. And all I'm saying is with that breath work, dude, there are even people, like he just said, like a certain percentage who just from the breath work, it can trigger what could be called a psychotic break or something like that. So it's just literally breathing. So it's like this is a much deeper thing, and I'll try not to be too long-winded. I'll just wrap it up, but I'll just say that like there's a lot to this topic because it seems like there's people that have like latent under the surface issues, but it doesn't even mean that they're just like genetically bound to be schizophrenic the rest of their life. Usually there's traumas, there's family, genetic history. There's something at the root of that quote unquote mental disease. So it's like he said, it's like it's stirring it up, but it actually is a healing impulse if you're able to actually work through it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a bump in the road type of thing where they have to confront that. But I'm just saying, even the breath work can actually like trigger that, and people can have it spontaneously too, even without breathing. You can just have it spontaneously. But in the same way, yes, LSD could activate that. It doesn't mean it's the LSD doing it. It means that it is activating, something that's already within them, and they would ideally need more support to work it through. But a lot of people don't, and they don't have all the support, if that all. If you see what I'm saying with all that, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he could have already had it, of course, which makes more sense, and the acid kind of brought it out. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah.
Because there's people that have been doing the LSD therapy back when it, in different ways where like it does do that. It brings out something very deep, and then they have support and they're able to keep doing more LSD, ironically, to work through it, and then they can work through it and resolve the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like something that got triggered by it. It's sort of like the idea of like you could take a lot of LSD in a bad setting, and maybe it could trigger like that kind of, whatever that small percentage of people were could trigger that would quote unquote send you into a mental institution because you triggered up something very deep. But then ironically, you could use LSD in a therapeutic way, more LSD, to work through the issues to then be released from the mental institution. So it's sort of like it could put you in and take you out. So it shows that there's more going on there than just it's not a one-way thing.
Yeah, friend.
Absolutely not recommended.
Shut up, friends. I've taken so much fucking acid. I can't even count anymore, right? But every time I've experienced it, I understand what the guy went through if they do have a psychotic breakdown, because once you peak on acid, right, your whole life can flash with like in front of your fucking eyes. Like there's so much shit, and if you have issues or whatever that you're dealing with in the current moment, that's gonna be like amplified in your head, like, and I don't know what happens, but you resolve it. It resolves. It's fucked up. The last 4 hits of acid I did, and there was a whole fucking issue I was having with this bitch. And let me tell you, everything after that acid hit was so much more clear for me. And everything's working out better for me in the end. You guys understand? Even with the bitch, like at work and shit, everything, she called me last fucking yesterday. So, I mean, it is what it is. Right?
Dude,
No, but yeah, but
LSD, LSD has
the
a
long-
certain.
the long
hold on, bro. Hold on. LSD has a certain, like they try to put a certain programming and like whatever like false reputation or whatever. But dude, LSD is very interesting because it's like pure lysergic acid. Lysergic acid is found in certain plants, like, and it's been like an entheogen for eons of time, like in the ancient world and so on. So like lysergic acid is in like morning glory seeds and things, so it is an entheogen. But in LSD, it's like somehow that combination of the lysergic acid diethylamide 25 is what LSD 25 is the one. And there's something about the chemical composition that when you make LSD that seems to make that lysergic acid just like very active. Like it's just like boom. So it ends up being just almost like this like cosmic blast of lysergic acid. And lysergic acid is incredibly divine, spiritual, I mean, cosmic light. I mean, amazing. Now, people can have different experiences because it really seems to like amplify the psyche. So it can be very intense. But when you really understand how it works and how to work with it, yeah, there's just so much, like what you were saying right there. Yeah, it can be like a reset. It can like the idea of like, cleansing your third eye kind of thing. It can bring like, it tends to have like a very like soul strengthening quality to it, even if what you're going through is challenging. And Vlad, if you've consumed it, whatnot, I would imagine, I'll stop there, but I would imagine you know what I mean, dude. It's like,
third eye.
What does entheogen mean, Gio? What does entheogen mean?
well, the word it's entheogen, and it's a word that's been used, kind of in replacement for psychedelic in a way. Like psychedelic has certain, connotations, but the word entheogen, basically it means it's 3 parts, like ENTHEOGEN. So it's kind of a 3-part word. Like N, the first EN is like in or within, can be translated as THEO, Theo or Teo, like in Greek is basically God, theos. So it's like the, divine God, etc. However, the divine. And then GEN is like generate or genesis or to generate. So it could kind of be like translated as like for example, generating the divine within is one way, or like generating. Yeah. That's kind of how it's and it's generally used for like more of like the like conscious spiritual, use rather than like the recreational. Like that word entheogen is more the kind of the sacred kind of honoring and more like medicinal use. Generally, that term is applied for.
Okay, interesting.
Yo, SC Montreal, you've never done acid?
Of course I have, bro. Of course I have.
Right. So you've peaked on it.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, yeah, for sure.
No, so you don't understand. I'm talking about recently.
No, I'm talking many, many moons ago.
Okay, so yeah, so you don't know. You gotta do it when you're older. You can't fucking do this shit when you're a kid. As a kid, you don't understand what the fuck you're going into.
Yeah, but it's not good for you anyways. Old or young.
Robert, shut the fuck up, Robert. You
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Brother,
Yeah, we're not-
why are you attacking me? Why
We're
are you
good.
attacking me?
We're not going to debate it. We're having we're not really having like an anti-convo. So if you don't have anything positive to add, we're not really.
It's not anti. It's just discussion, logic.
All
Hey,
right, but I'm
Robert,
not-
logically, okay, let me logically, so hold on, Gio, logically fuck this guy up real quick. Logically, have you ever done this shit?
Why would you do
Robert.
something bad for you?
Oh,
It's like
okay,
shooting
okay, so
yourself.
you don't know what the
I've never
fuck you're
shot-
talking about. Logically, if you had information about something, you'd actually experienced it, but you don't have any experience with it, so logically, you should shut the fuck up.
Logically, have you shot yourself in the head?
all right,
Oh, look
just
at this
not,
guy.
hold up,
Stupid.
dude.
Irrelevant.
I mean,
No,
I
it's
don't want
relevant. It's relevant.
to hold up, dude. I'm just gonna mute you if you're gonna be screaming and stuff. Unless you and
I'm not
Vlad just,
screaming, I'm
you
just
guys.
outside. I'm just outside. I'm sorry.
I know, but you guys want to just go back.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you want to.
I'll fucking crush this kid. You know what's gonna happen. I'll fucking destroy
You
this
what-
buddy.
You want to scream at each other? Scream at each
I'm
other.
not
with
gonna. You know me. I ain't screaming. I'm just talking the way I always talk. He's gonna
No,
fry.
I
that
know.
little
I'm saying, you guys want
don't
like a
get it.
half hour. Hold on. You guys want like a half hour with no moderation? You just both go nuts and you just insult each other and interrupt all you want. Just get it all out.
Oh, I don't insult, brother. I do not insult. You guys know me. I just speak
Hey,
the
hey,
facts.
brother, you're the most
I'm just playing.
lying son of a bitch there is. You know that, brother.
No, but dude, hold on. This is the thing, dude. If we're having like a cool convo about actually building on cool shit, we may not. It's like, dude, we don't have to like debate you on it because you have some whatever opinion on it. So I'm just saying, dude, like it's not some default that we have to rail on with you about how you think it's whatever. Because dude, what you just said, I would say is like, with all due respect, profoundly uninformed. If you're trying to say they're quote unquote bad for you and so on, I mean, I know you have absolutely no evidence of that. I've been studying this for so many years, but I don't want to debate you on it. We can do another day maybe. But dude, I wanted to actually say to Vlad real quick. Well, go. I don't know. Go ahead, man. I was just gonna say Vlad, like, dude, because you've been there, like like on high dose LSD, like how intense is it? The way that like the ego is just being like subsumed, and you have to like surrender, and it goes through. Oh, it's just so profound, dude. Like I was gonna ask, like, because if you've been there, dude, on like 500 micrograms. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
I've done
it's
all of it, man.
so
Yeah, I've
intense.
done it all. Well, that's what I'm saying. This kid doesn't understand what the fuck he's talking about, right? So
Yeah,
and
well,
that's
you
what
haven't-
really
you
upsets
haven't-
me.
Well, you haven't
And
engaged
that's
me
what
on it,
upsets
so
me.
you don't know.
This guy does he'll never, and that's why he's a glober for the rest of his fucking life because he
Yeah,
doesn't
because
know
the
how to
globe is a
think
fact.
outside.
Because the globe
You
is a
see this
fact.
guy? Because the globe is a fact. Yeah, okay, there, zombie. You're just a regular programmed NPC.
Why
We all
are
know
you
this.
insulting?
You're
Why are
an
you
NPC
insulting?
zombie. I hit him right in the soul right now. Why am I talking? I hit him in the soul.
Yeah,
You're
no,
an
no.
NPC
Why are you
zombie, my
insulting?
guy.
Why are you insulting? I'm asking.
Because you're stupid.
All right, let's not do this, dude. I mean, I hear it. Like,
I mean,
dude, it's not
funny.
about like
Why-
it's not about
why are
modding
you
for it. To, like,
insulting?
hold on, it's
Yeah,
not to like.
yeah.
Hold on, let me just say, dude, it's not to like protect someone's emotions while we mod for it. It's just like, dude, do we want to sit here and listen to you guys just cuss at each other, or would we rather like learn something? So I mean, I don't know, man. Like, can you guys, if you're gonna like,
Well, Gio,
honestly,
have you
I'd
ever learned
rather
anything
just
from
flow
this
on
guy?
the. I'd rather just
Gio.
flow on the good combo we were at,
Oh
but if you
my
want to go
God.
into a whole debating this guy, I guess like.
Oh my
whatever.
god. Oh,
Yeah, but Gio,
oh my god.
you heard them insulting me, right? And I did not, right? You heard that, right?
Cry more. Cry more.
It's
I don't
because
care.
you're
Listen,
stupid.
Gio. Yeah, it's because you're stupid. That's it. See, even God Rockin' got it.
Gio, they're still doing it. So Gio, don't attack me, brother. I'm good, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking normally. You know, I may talk loud. I'm outside. I'm sorry, right? But I don't insult people. You guys know me. When I come here, I just state the data, state the facts, state what I've
Hey,
done, my
listen.
practice.
Hey,
all that.
Robert. When you
I
lie
don't,
to a
I don't,
man's face,
I
see,
don't call
Robert,
people.
listen to me very carefully. I'll educate you something because you're not a man, right? So when you're a real fucking
Gio, they're
man in
still
the
doing it.
real
He says I'm
world,
not a man.
listen to me very carefully. Don't fucking interrupt me, bitch.
Dude,
When you're a real
Vlad, come on,
man,
bro.
hold on,
Come on.
Gio. When you're a real man in the real world, right? And when you go approach other men, right? See, I
I don't
don't
approach
go up
men.
to
I
men.
approach women.
Listen, doesn't matter. I don't care. When you talk to other men in real life, you don't
Right.
lie to other men because when you lie to another man, it's a form of fucking disrespect. Because
One
you're
lie have I.
fucking with
Lie. One lie have I.
everything you fucking say in this
The-
channel is a lie, buddy.
everything you're saying right
Everything.
now, you do not know me.
Everything you
So,
say is a lie. The globe is a lie, and you keep
no, the
fucking
globe is a fact.
regurgitating.
The globe's
There
a
you go.
fact.
That's a lie. That's a
The
All
lie.
right,
entire
dude,
fact.
you guys, hold up. Come on, dude. I was joking about having
And now
30
you're
minutes.
insulting, and you're insulting me
I'm
by
not
telling me it's a
insulting.
fucking globe. Yeah, it's an insult. You're a bitch.
Not
Fuck
an
you.
insult. I haven't. Listen.
You're a
I have
bitch.
worked.
Fuck you.
Oh, look at
Dude,
that, Gio. You heard it, Gio. Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
mute me.
mean,
I don't give a fuck.
all right. I mean, really,
Gio,
bro.
just imagine. Just imagine. I was feeling that way, Gio. You would have muted me and kicked me out a long time ago. Just admit it, Gio.
No,
And admit,
Robert.
and by the way,
Robert.
me
Here's the
oppose-
problem, Robert. You don't understand, Robert. I've been in these discords and these people know me for fucking close to 10 years, Robert. So go fuck yourself, Robert.
Right.
Dude, you gotta
so, so you understand that now, right? Imagine if
Well,
I
yeah,
said
you're
those-
nobody, Robert. That's
You
what I'm
are.
trying to tell you. You're fucking nobody. Fuck you, Robert.
All right, dude, Vlad, bro. I don't want to
Gio,
like mute you. But
I'm
do
sorry.
I really
That's,
have-
okay. I'll stop. I just wanted to put him in his place. I don't know. Just sorry.
not put anybody in any place.
Yeah,
you don't
put in
realize
your fucking place.
you have not
you
put
in your
anybody in
fucking
any place, brother.
Yeah,
Robert,
Yeah,
Robert,
yeah.
dude,
Words don't work here,
something-
brother.
hold up, dude. Something as a possible like critique to your approach, just to say this, okay? Since this kind of happened, the thing is, bro, if we're having conversations about something, it's one thing to like offer your viewpoint, hear another side while being open, like in good faith with hearing the other side, right? Like an exchange where there could be a building. And I have heard you do that at times, but there's another mode often that some folks go into, which with all due respect, you tend to as well, where it's like, you're just all on the offensive, meaning tell everyone they're wrong, tell them what you think is right. And do you see how that's like less productive? It's almost like just trying to like, push and push and push and keep telling someone they don't understand, push your idea rather than like a constructive building, So if you come in and just say, you guys are all wrong, you guys are all over and over, you know what I'm saying? It tends to create much more of a confrontational, I don't know if that's what you're trying to do, but I'm just suggesting like, that approach tends to activate a lot more sort of middle finger from people rather than more of a good faith interest in having an exchange that could be productive.
I hear you. I did not use those words that you are wrong, and I did not. I came in and said that those things that you're talking about are damaging to you, right? Those things have been proven to not be good for the human being's mind, right?
Okay, then if you want to debate it, then I
Right.
would I would strongly contest that because I've been studying these for over 25 years and I've been to conferences, I've met scientists, biologists, I've met people from all over the world who have worked with these medicines for even like the shamanic traditions in South America and other places where they've worked with these for eons of time, all the way to the medical level of the most cutting edge research and so on. And if we're talking about LSD, mushrooms, DMT, ayahuasca, peyote, which contains mescaline, specific plants in specific categories and specific compounds have never been shown to have damaging effects physically in any way. Now, there are psychological processes that occur, but so I don't even know if I want to get into a whole debate with you, but I'm just saying that what you just said is scientifically false. And if you think differently, you're welcome to post something or whatever it may be, but I know that there's zero science that shows any actual data of any damage, to the physical body. So
yes, to the physical mind, yes. And I do have family members that are in the medical industry. As a matter of fact, one of them is in psychology, psychiatric, and psychiatric. Basically, what they're telling you is that these type of substances are hallucinogens. What they do, they heighten certain parts of the hypothalamus. They heighten certain parts of your frontal cortex, right? And it may damage those synaptic pathways permanently. These are the things that they talk
hold on,
about,
dude.
right?
Hold on.
So-
No, that's
so-
absolutely
hold on.
false.
So what happens? Hold on, let me finish. What happens is the brain.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
The brain is pretty
I'm
good
good.
at trying to repair.
We're good, bro. I'm not doing that.
I told you. He's
Yeah,
an
that's
asshole.
crazy. Let me say something on that, Robert. I came in before with the same attitude, right? And I said, no,
He
you
left.
don't do acid
Listen,
because
don't waste your breath. He left. Fuck. The cunt. I
Oh,
told
he
you, he's a
left. Okay,
bitch.
well, too
Yeah,
bad.
man.
Yeah, like you got to be able to take in new information, right? Like you just got to be able to, man. I mean, and reprocess your thoughts upon receiving new information. I mean, if you don't do that, I mean, yeah.
Listen, I know I kind of jumped in there and a little bit and I mean, he was interrupting. It was already getting irate. I guess maybe I did sort of interrupt him a little bit too. But dude, I will say this, like that particular topic is one that, of course, like in my viewpoint has been misrepresented. There's a lot of propaganda, a lot of false information, and there's a whole deception really around convincing people about false information. you know, I mean, they're illegal for a reason, even though they have no actual damaging effects. I mean, even though they're starting to loosen up, but you have that because of how potent they are, et cetera. So many different components. But I will say, like, you know, there's a lot of things that are said on this live stream that obviously not all of us agree with, but like there is something about people like with that particular topic and like how it, you know, in terms of my own kind of connection with that like people just, you know what I mean, like spreading that blatant like basically misinformation is just incredibly problematic on many levels. And I know someone might say, "Oh, well, you think it's disinfo, you know, that you know that you're not allowing it." And then you could almost say, "Oh, well, we're like YouTube." You know, someone could try to make that claim. You're like YouTube, you're censoring stuff. But I don't know. I know it's long-winded, but I'm just saying, if you see what I mean, it's just like, are we going to allow, or just like, you know, broadcast to the world, you know what I mean, something that is, yeah, to that level. So.
Like I said, fuck that guy. I told you this, man. He's bullshit. This guy.
Like I said, you need to be able to take in new information, like what you guys told me, right? It made sense, right? It could have been cut. Could have been cut with something, and obviously you guys have more knowledge about the chemical world than I do. So I mean, yeah, if you get new info, like reevaluate it. Don't be dogmatic, is my point, right? And I find a lot of us are dogmatic, including myself in certain things.
Yeah, I just know for an absolute fact, like I've studied this whole world for so many years. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want to try to like accuse what he does, but it was almost like blatant, like fabricated. Like he's trying to say that like damages the brain. It's just so false, dude. It's so false, and like, you know,
Yeah,
he wants to be
man,
antagonistic. He wants to be antagonistic and trigger and say,
right.
you know what I mean. And it's clear that like, anyways,
He's
I'm not trying
gaslighting
to.
you, bitch. No, but you're right. He's gaslighting the fuck out of me. That's another one. And on top of that, like you said, bro, I've done so much fucking high doses of fucking acid that like this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. 'Cause I would have been fucking brain dead by now. You know what I mean? Shit. Shit.
Yeah, dude. When you look back
I'm a
on like,
highly functioning person. No, listen, but I'm a highly functioning person. I do my job, right? Just to go through a day, right, of what I fucking do in my job. I don't know, people lose their fucking minds because it's not just like, oh, you have to be physically fit to do what I do. You have to process fucking a certain amount of orders in a certain amount of time and to a certain amount of precision, right? Fuck me. People cannot handle the kitchen for a reason. Because let's say the rush comes and you have like fucking 20 orders coming at you, right? And you have to do it within a certain time frame, right? That shit ain't easy. Let's just say that.
Oh, now you're talking my language. I was a short order cook for a while. Oh yeah, in the kitchen, man. That that separates the slow pokes from the people that can work quick, for sure, bro.
Well, yeah, you're talking to the master, bro. Fuck. Did you ever see what I make? Like, bro. On top of that, it's the pizza pie, bro. Like my rushes are serious. I've done by myself. My record is like maybe $7,500 worth of sales in one day. It was a Sunday. I remember I sold $7,000, $7,500 worth of pizza that one fucking day by myself, completely all by myself.
It's a lot of
That's a
pies, bro.
record.
That's a lot of freaking pies.
I didn't even take a break to piss, bro. I was going all day. From the beginning till the end. It was crazy. And it started like 11 in the morning and it ended at 2 in the morning.
so,
You're talking hundreds of
let's see.
pies now.
Yeah, man, I'm crazy. I told you I can fucking I can go, bro. You don't even know. I'm fucking insane.
Yeah, I just want to say, let me just say this one. If you guys want to go on pies, like we don't have to keep on the topic, but I just want to say, like, okay, so from the perspective that, like, if we're talking about like LSD, mushrooms, ayahuasca, etc., like I'm talking about the classic entheogens. I'm not talking about, you know, heroin or any drug like that. I'm talking about the actual, like, if you want to say like classic psychedelics or entheogens. Like, dude, they're like, just to give one kind of example, like like if people are going to claim that these things like damage your brain and do all this, like that information. Now I know somebody could just say, oh, this is a one-off or something, but it's not at all, because I know many people as well. But so Stanislav Grof is this guy's name. He was born in like 1931, I think. Anyways, he had an incredibly fascinating life. He ended up like, he was born in Czechoslovakia. He was one of the first ones to be doing the LSD, like the legal LSD research back then. And he's worked with like many other, like with thousands of people, with tons of plants. He's done all of these things, who knows how many times, like hundreds, in total, and had many very powerful experiences and so on. He's like one of the most intelligent human beings on earth. Like he's written like many of like incredibly detailed books on the human psyche and all of his research. Even like the president of Czechoslovakia gave him what's called the Vision 97 award. It's almost like a Nobel Prize, like in Czechoslovakia. It's kind of that, it's not quite the same Nobel Prize, but it's called the Vision 97. The president of Czechoslovakia gave that to him, even though Stan Grof is like not mainstream at all. Like he's actually been opposed by, a lot of things, but in Czechoslovakia, he was like, anyway, so I'm just saying he's like an incredibly like renowned, like he can speak like 10 different languages fluently. He has like, it's like amazing. Like he's like an encyclopedia. He's like pretty much, as far as I know, one of the most brilliant men that I'm aware of in today's era, and so on. So anyways, I'm just saying, and he's worked with these things and has done them, many times. So it's just sort of an example, like we were talking about before. So like the claim that, that people try to make around that. And I know some people might say, oh, that's just one example, but the thing is there's many others like that as well. So it's just kind of like looking at the truth of the situation versus the propagandized kind of narrative that they want to put out in terms of related to these.
Yeah, so interesting. So you're saying, and it does make sense, right, that the schizophrenia was already in that person, and this drug kind of brought it out. Yeah, I can definitely see that, right? As opposed to it causing the schizophrenia. So yeah, that does make sense.
Well, there's like the idea that you have like your unconscious, which is like very like, suppressed, as it were, and is just that, it's unconscious, but the impulses are there, but you're unconscious of it. And that can often be because there's deep-seated trauma or something very deep like that. And then you have your subconscious, which is like in between, So like when someone gets quote unquote triggered, well, it's like the subconscious is the in between their unconscious trigger and their outwardly conscious. Because after subconscious, you have conscious. So it's like unconscious, subconscious, conscious. Obviously the conscious is the outer, subconscious in between, and then the unconscious. And so like something like, schizophrenia or something like that, somebody could have a very deep thing in their unconscious that is like a trauma or something that would be causing that, so if they're going about their life and it's very suppressed or repressed within them, and then it can come up, like if it's in them though, it has to come out. It's like a splinter. You got to get it out. You got to go through it. The mainstream system just says, you have a brain disorder, you have bad genetics, you have brain imbalances, take our drugs, just take our, symptom, whatever reducing drugs, which never get to the root. Whereas if you actually, do this deep inner work, whatever that like cluster that might have had a schizophrenic thing to it, if it gets activated either spontaneously, it could happen with like the breath work, like I said, it could happen with a psychedelic experience, it could happen with like a traumatic event. And so, yeah, it's like then that cluster is kind of coming to the surface. And yeah, instead of just like, categorizing that person as insane or just to put them away, if you actually support them to work through, like if you like trust the process, it's like the idea that we all have like an inner healer as well. And if you trust that and you support that person and you give them the tools, whether it's the plants or the breathing or whatever it is, it's a process that they can work through. Sorry, it's long-winded, but yeah, like it's a process in that way. And it's something that has a purpose for it and a resolution rather than just being, labeled as, as just like a diagnosis in that way.
Amazing. Listen, friends, I just posted in the side chat a couple of things, and this is for Mr. SE Montreal, mostly because you're our cook. Have you ever seen my pizza pies?
No, bro. No.
Well, I recommend you look in the side chat. See, the first picture as a JPEG, because it's such a high resolution. It's an 8 megapixel photo, so you kind of have to like click on it and download it. But yeah, then the second one is my little Valentine's heart shaped pizza, Nutella pizza thing.
Oh yeah, I can tell, bro. Those are some high class stuff. Yeah, yeah. This guy ain't no Pizza Hut pizza maker. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, and then the video that I posted there, that's my wood oven that I work on right now. That's my bitch. And then
Oh, yeah,
and then
this
the
is
last
gourmet pizza. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then
Is
the
this in
last
the?
one.
It's in the side chat thing or the VC chat. You know that's like the
live stream VC, the one that's the little fucking what do you
it's
call
like
it?
it's like the VC chat. I got you. I see him.
Yeah, and then the last post I posted is me spinning the bitch. You guys know what I mean by like it's just pretty much flaring the dough. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you call a top pizza chef, right here.
Oh no, you don't understand. I'm the best of the best. I don't give a fuck what.
Meja, guayo.
Hey, yo,
Paisan.
bro, I've had
Spaghetti.
motherfucking Italians. I've had motherfucking Italians for fucking 20 years. Come from straight from Italy, Sicily, Napoli. Don't give a fuck, man. They can't even compare, bro. We're talking not just how I cook the bitch, not just how my taste of the pizza is. It's pretty much how I work. It's it's hard to be me. You know what I mean? And it's because of all that acid I did, bro. Because they can't compete with a guy that can do fucking 6 hits of acid, bro. Are you crazy? Those motherfuckers can't. That brain power is not there for them. You know what I mean? They just explode. Get out of here.
No, dude, there is something about it that like strengthens the soul. I know what you mean, dude. Like anyone who's like gone through 500-600 micrograms, even if they're not in the best environment, even if they are kind of like not in the best, set and setting, dude, just that alone, like it's like it helps you to like weather the storm on a whole nother level that like seems to like deepen the capacity to like you know what I mean, dude. When you've gone through like, oh man,
it's so good. I'm telling you, man. Like you just don't give a fuck about anything. It's all good. And then the thing is, it's like the biggest thing, right? And you'll always remember it is when you're peaking, and you feel like you're dying because there's that death moment, right? And then you tell yourself everything's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And that's it. And when you tell yourself that, buddy, you start coming down off that crazy. Oh my god, I think everything's fucking. I'm dying. What? Oh fuck, death. Like you're like shit. But then after that, you're like, oh man, it's all good. I'm grooving. And when you're grooving, bro, the party fucking starts. Oh fuck.
for sure, dude. That's like the process of ego death. It's like facing death, dude. Yeah, because I've had time. It's like you feel like you're actually gonna die at one point. You're like, oh my god, this is it. You know what I mean? Like it can be so full on. And then you like surrender to that, go through that.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, you reach the surrender point, and then it's like that, almost like nightmare, if I was to put it that way, or that like intense tension like releases, and it's like, and then the rebirth occurs. Then you're like
that's euphoria because you cannot feel the pleasure without the pain, and you got to understand that that's the duality of this fucking world. Because if I didn't feel so shit, I won't be able to feel so happy. You know what I mean? So it oscillates back and forth. You have to know one and the other. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You embrace it. When you go into this acid trip, you got to understand you're gonna feel some shit, especially after so many trips already, right? When the bad stuff comes, just fucking sit there and chill and like fucking embrace it. You know what I mean? Just do it. Whatever.
Can you imagine now a bunch of straight people, moms and pops, listening to this convo? It must be, what the hell are these guys saying? Are they saying to do acid
Yes.
and it's good for you? Yeah.
Bro, I mean, there's the acid crusaders, bro, in the past, and that's the belief. Everybody in this world at least needs to do at least one hit of fucking acid in their lifetime, because if they do that, if everybody does a hit of acid in their life, right, the world will be a better place. Just because everybody will be like thinking at the same like page, or everybody's on this. It's less greedy people and shit. You know what I mean? Less evil shit. You don't want to do evil once you find God, you know what I mean? Because you know there's consequences, you know karma exists, man. So you're really like it's you'll never want to do evil again, or like try to sin, or because you understand what sin is, like real sin, not that biblical sin what they fucking try and teach you. You're talking about the actual sins, right?
What you're saying kind of reminds me when we talk about kids today and how they misbehave and they seem to be like sissy like. And I remember once saying, you know what? When you're young, everyone deserves to get a beating. Now I don't mean like a brutal, but like if you haven't been like in a fight, or to know that somebody out there is stronger than you, or there's always somebody gonna be tougher than you know what I'm saying? That kind of a sense. Like I feel that kids today, like they're like sissies, like they're, safe houses and safe spaces, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're little bitches. I get you.
It sounds
They're real
cruel though.
fucking.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just it's because it's what fucking. Well, this is North America, man. I don't know about like no. If you go to like Russia and Eastern Europe, there's some tough kids there, man. They're not fucking. They're not
Like,
westernized kids, bro.
yeah, like what I'm saying now, you see in chat rooms, people like tend to swear and take jibes at people now. You do that in real life in the old days, Somebody would punch you in the nose or something, right? And you'd learn real quick that you don't do that kind of stuff. That's not social good behavior, right? But now it's like, yeah, it's like a wild, wild west. Like there's no consequences for your actions type deal.
Well, that's why I say the God thing. Once you do enough acid and you come close to God and you realize that, like I never, even when I was younger, like I was like, just because I was beat as a fucking kid like crazy, so I never did bad things, period, you know what I mean? So that kind of like stuck with me. And then and I'm like 37, even talking to my mom, like yo, bro, think about all of my fucking how long I lived. Like, did I ever do anything bad? Like, sure, I fucking swear and like I'm loud and shit, but I never ever do anything like bad to people ever, like intentionally or even unintentionally. I try to avoid like negative energy, like putting out negative energy. Apart from my swearing and shit, but my swearing is just like the what do you call it? It's my way of dealing my past traumas, pretty much, because I can't stop it. Like my way of talking, and it has a lot to do with the way my father was talking when I was younger. And the way he spoke was like that old school Soviet Union fucking Russian fucking what do you call it? Like hood rat fucking language, you know what I mean? Like you know how you have like hood rat language, like urban fucking urbanized language. You know how the black people talk in the hood? You know what I mean? So like if you go to Russian hoods, they have their own type of fucking like that's how they talk, right? It's like and it's a lot of swearing. We're talking every other word's a fucking swear. It's crazy. You know what I mean? And Russian is a colorful language, and you can swear in such a colorful fashion. You know what I mean? There's crazy ways of coloring somebody. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm really good and articulate, because I can articulate myself in a different way because I have that Russian in me, right? Because that's my mother tongue. So when I do structure sentences in English, I can articulate myself in a different way, right? And and that's why I can swear and cuss people out really funny, you know? I like to do it in a funny way too. It's not like I'm going straight at him. I like to do it in a funny way. And that's because of all that shit from the past.
So Russian, huh? Interesting. That must have been an experience for you growing up in the States.
I was in Canada, but yeah.
Well, in Canada, it's much easier in Canada. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it was first of all, I did like 5 years in Calgary and then 15 years in Montreal. So yeah, fuck. Montreal was the worst. I hate Montreal. Fuck Montreal.
My home city. No, no sweat. Well, what don't you like about it, bro? I don't know if we want to get into this and bore everybody, but a quick. What don't you like?
In general, I hate the whole province of Quebec because of their whole French laws. You know what I mean? In general.
I knew it. Yeah, yeah.
But then
Oh, I hear
when
that,
it
bro.
comes to, when it comes to just Montreal, that's where I grew up, and it's just I hate fucking everything about Montreal because I fucking hate it. The people, the way yeah, trust me, I never want to go back to Montreal ever again. But I have to like eventually because there's there's so much people in my fucking like my kid lives in Montreal, my mom's in Montreal. Fuck. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I hear that because of the French English thing. For those that don't know, here in Quebec, they have a beef with the English, so they speak French, and some of them like they won't speak English to you, even though they can. And some people get really upset about that. But anyways,
But
yeah,
it's not
it's
even that. It's more of like fucking the government and the police state. Like, bro, they were crazy with the masks and shit in Montreal and Quebec, the whole of Quebec, because they lose their fucking minds. These guys, that the cops think they have authority there. In Quebec, the cops think they have more fucking authority than in any other province. Do you know that? Like, they think they're like some fucking king shit there, eh?
yeah, they are. They are a bit. Well, I haven't had any really problems with them, but yeah, they when they stop you, they tend to be a little yeah.
No,
It's
but I mean, I'm
almost like
talking
a
about
state
the whole
trooper.
masking and yeah, no, the whole masking when they were given that authority for the 3 years, that whole thing, people were getting tickets and shit for not wearing masks outside. Fuck me, or being outside for curfews and shit. Curfews, the fuck out of here, bro. I in Toronto, bro, I was free fucking to do whatever the fuck I want. I never wore a fucking mask. I fucking if anybody approached me and shit, I told them to go fuck. I have a fucking video of me telling cops to go fuck themselves. They try to put a mask on me, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That shit wouldn't fly. They would have arrested me in Montreal, bro. I would have been arrested a million times.
Bro, you sound like Dice Clay there. Nobody would ever suspect you're Russian the way you talk, bro. It's like you sound Italian all the way.
Yeah, I get different things. Yeah,
The F out of here, man.
well, I do that sometimes because I like to do that. I like that one.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
messing
know
with
who
you.
I know who Dice Clay is. Actually, yeah, I like that guy. He's funny. Back when he was funny.
Little boy
Yeah,
Blue,
man.
he needed the
Let's
money.
get on the topic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was it Jack and Jill went down the hill? No, up a hill, and then Jill came down with $1.25.
Jack and Jill went up the hill, both with $1.25. Jill came down with 250. The fucking hoe. Oh,
Oh yeah, that one. Oh, that fucking hoe. Oh, that's so good. Oh man.
So did you
Oh,
guys
that's so.
catch the combo yesterday with the bending LIGO arms and you guys catch that? The straight lines that roll things.
Oh, Zanuck was going crazy again.
We had a PhD and Ruhif.
I mean,
Oh
I
no, I
think if
wasn't
we've
here.
learned anything, it's that you can't live on a globe and think level is perpendicular from plumb.
No
It's
chance. Yeah,
pretty. I
can't
think
happen.
did we iron that out or what?
I think we pretty much nailed that one. Yeah.
It only took 2 hours. And then to figure out how to whiteboard worked, all that. Bro, hold that.
Oh yeah, the whiteboard was beautiful. That red line. Yeah, that's like man. That's the way they think. That's the way they think, bro. Somehow, on a straight line, two ball bearings will roll to the center because of gravity. Then we learned did we learn the day before that? If you throw a ball, if a baseball pitcher throws a ball to the catcher, we don't know if the ball is traveling to the catcher or if the catcher is traveling to the ball. We don't know that either. Also, we don't know if you pick something up and drop it, we don't know if that object is falling to the ground or if the ground is rising up to meet that object. We don't know that either. So since it's quiet, I just thought of what's up with the 24-hour sun group story situation. I haven't heard from these guys. Anybody? What's going on in that department? Like, is Jeranism still doing his thing against the flat earthers? What happened to Witsit? Well, what's going on with those guys?
I don't know
know,
of
my
Yeah,
anything.
guy.
man.
I don't know of anything of real recent, but I don't think it's just my opinion. I don't think either one of them really know how to act about the whole thing. I think they've slipped and they found themselves with a mouthful of mud, and they can't seem to spit it out with any real clarity. And I kind of feel bad for both of them because it's just like eh, I'm just surprised that they weren't ready for to handle the answers that they got. They should have been mentally prepared for all of that, and they just seem like they got a mouthful of mud right now. That's just my opinion.
I hear that. Well, one of them is pretty clear. Um, Complete shift, right? That's his prerogative, whatever.
Yeah. But it still sounds muddy to me because of his past. You know what I mean? He was so confident, and now it just seems like I don't think he wants to say. I just don't get the feeling that he wants to say the things he's saying. I could be wrong, but I don't think he want. I don't think he's like. I don't think he's enjoying it at all. Should have been more prepared.
I see. In terms of like, sort of real quick on any updates on some of it. Yeah, I don't really keep up with there's been the different channels that have gone different directions with it and all of that. I was just gonna say, there was a video though. I think it was called like the Flat Earth 2025 Roundtable. Did you see that? It was on like Kingdom in Context on his channel, and also David Weiss. So it's like David Weiss and Kingdom in Context. If you go to Kingdom in Context YouTube channel, it's right there. I could go find it or link it too. But and there were a lot of, I mean, in terms of like who was on there, it was like Joe Hanvey, Whitsitt was on there, Marty Leeds, Nathan Thompson, Karen B, the conspiracy music guru guy I saw was on there, Rick Hummer. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, there was a lot of people. So anyways, that was like a 3.5 hour stream. I haven't really watched it, but I would imagine they did talk about the 24-hour sun. And so, yeah, that's kind of a panel that just happened a few days ago, I think. So
I heard about the round table. I was even making fun. They sure it wasn't square. Okay, so they did that one, right? Okay, yeah, I might check that one out. Yeah.
Is there highlights? Maybe no highlights.
So what's that like? Did you see it, Gio, or you maybe some of it, or?
I actually haven't. No, I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I'll probably watch it at like 1.75 speed, 2x speed or whatever. But no, I saw like just little 5 seconds of it just to kind of see who was on it and skim through it a little bit. But no, I haven't seen it. But I may check it out. It's kind of one of those things. I wish I could just have like a highlight reel of the best parts, because like 3.5 hours, there's probably a lot of in between stuff. But no, I haven't seen it though. But I just know about it.
Yeah, like from what I've seen from Whitsitt, he sounds no different than before. But Jaron flew the coup, like, and not only flew the coup, he's like taking shots at flat earthers. So that's a complete like 180 right there.
When you do that whole situation, it's such a tough spot. Like, it's like, I don't even know if we want to take it down this whole road, but it's like this vibe of, it's like this, if I kind of take it in a very general way, it's like this guy who, has been speaking about flat earth, something very against the mainstream and calling all these things out and trying to build like a reputation or whatever it is on his, ability to discern truth or just to discuss it. And then he just completely flips. It's like, what does that mean for all of his previous integrity? It's like, okay, all that's out the window. I was wrong for years. You've been following me. You thought I was right all that time. Well, now I'm just telling you I was wrong all that time. It's okay to admit you're wrong, though. I'm not saying that. Like, we can't just like shame people to admit they're wrong, but you see what I mean? Just like now his whole channel is like a string of contradictions. He would have to either like delete videos or just like change every position he has, which he's already sort of doing, but what a position to be in, It's like such a strange mixture of like now every single thing he says is contradictory. And then is he expecting other people are going to like trust his discernment moving forward? When it went down like this, like it wasn't like a slow process. It was like, he got this trip and anyways, yeah. So that's a lot.
Yeah. Like without judging, right? Like, okay, you saw a 24-hour sun, right? Okay. But how does that change, for example, gas pressure next to a vacuum, or uneven heating of the globe, or dark energy or dark matter, or the ISS? How does that change? How does that sun change any of that? Like the physics, I mean, I don't get it. But hey, to each his own.
Right, that's the thing, dude. Same with Ranty. Like when you're gonna be analyzing or doing these like multiple different categories of discussion points, and then just one thing from one category just overrules and wipes out everything you said about all the other categories. Like it shows that there's something going on there that is like, I mean, not to be offensive, but it's like of like an unstable logical nature in a way, like at the foundation of it.
And speaking of Ranty's back. I don't know if you guys know. So Ranty, if you're listening, come on in, man. Let's hear what's in your head, what happened the time you were gone, and you still feel that way. Because Ranty's another guy that flipped overnight over a picture. over a picture that a teenager took. It's like unbelievable. But yeah, Ranty's back. So Ranty, if you're listening, bro, come on in and let's have a chat. I'm interested. What's on your mind?
In what context is he back? You mean discussing these topics, or?
Yeah. I heard him. Where I forget where I heard him on. To be honest with you, it was like last week, and he seemed to be talking cool, like down to earth. He wasn't like taking pot shots and stuff. So yeah. Nobody else saw that. Did anybody else see that? So we can say where he was on, so other people could watch it if they want. Because he literally changed looking at a picture. Literally. You guys remember that picture of the hill, the mountain, and what was it, Blackpool?
Yep. And then you've seen the one that I often post. Basically, this one, I think Chemo put thanks Chemo on it, which is funny because there's
That's
one
the
time
one.
that, yeah. So I mean, that shows like that was the whole Ranty flip, and simply that just shows on the oil rigs picture on the top, same location, same elevation, different days, and then it's kind of like trying to make an analogy, like the oil rig on the left is Blackpool Tower, the equivalent of that, meaning it's closer. It's closer distance wise, and then the oil rig on the right on both of those pictures is obviously a further distance, which is like the mountains, which are a further distance, compared to Blackpool Tower. And then the fact that those are the oil rig ones, same location, same elevation, different days, means that the oil rig on the left picture, which is dropped quite a bit, down, the oil rig on the right, which is much higher, almost even with the other oil rig, shows how clearly there's an optical effect happening. It's not like curvature is there and then not there. The Earth is not bending and warping in and out of curvature. So there's obviously an optical drop, an optical phenomenon there that's clearly occurring. So this shows that it's not due to some physicality of the Earth. So I mean that right there, if you really like understand what that represents, just right there, just as a comparison, it shows that that basically debunks Ranty's entire thing, claiming that the mountain's lower because of Earth curve, when you can replicate it on the ground on just different days with different optical effects, showing that it's not physical curve happening, but it's an optical variation.
Yep. And what was his name? Pebbles on the Pond. Shout him out. He showed us in the warehouse. Just the atmos, just the cold air coming in, completely obstructed the object.
For sure, yeah. When you combine that bottom-up obstruction, temperature change, that's essentially even what's happening. Like on that oil rig on the right, you've got bottom up on one view, and then not bottom up on the, or no obstruction on the one on the right. So yeah, when you can show that with no change in the curvature of the ground that you can cause that, like the pebbles in the pond demonstration, then yeah, exactly. It's like
It's a visual.
yeah, validating those two phenomena that could be replicated exactly on a small scale.
One day you see this, the next day you see that. Yep.
Well, 90% of the time, all long distance observation match the curvature calculations.
Wrong, Robert, wrong.
No, right.
Wrong, Robert, wrong.
Oh, right. Correct. 100%, brother. I'm telling you. You know,
You're a
the deal,
loser.
the deal.
You're a loser, Robert.
Let's not do that, bro. We don't need to shame like
Well, I
that.
mean, he's doing it. So I mean, what can I do, man? Fuck him.
Tell him I did not do that, please.
Yes, you did it. You come in here and lie again, like you
Did I call?
always do.
Did I call him a
Yeah, you
loser?
lied. I know you lied. I don't care what you don't have to call me. You can use you can use your little soft baby language on me, but it's the
Baby.
fact that your intention, yeah, you're intentionally lying is just fucking the worst disrespect you could do, bro. You're fucked. Fuck off. You're
Okay,
not a
so
man, you're a bitch.
90% of the time, the
We're
long
not
distance
gonna do
90% of the
that. Hold on,
time.
Bob. Sorry, man. We're not
90% of the time.
don't don't you hear me, Robert? I'm trying to mod. Please, bro, don't do that. I'm asking you as a favor, like, don't do that, because then it's
What are
gonna
you talking
become.
about?
I'm talking to you, bro.
What are you talking about? I ain't do
Like,
nothing.
don't swear. Don't call people bitches and that, because then it's gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna have like a shit show.
Oh no! I don't do that to people, right? I just doing it to Robert. Okay. He deserves it though, you know. I mean, this guy comes in here every goddamn fucking day, pretty much, right? And then starts saying the exact same thing. Like he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. We understand what his fucking mission here is, and just fuck off, bro. That's it. It's like, bro, get out of here. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear your shit.
The reason why I say the same
Nobody
thing
wants to hear your shit.
because facts don't change.
No, you just fucking like a zombie, learn some shit, right? And you just keep regurgitating without understanding any of it.
No,
You're
I do
stupid.
understand. I do
You don't
understand.
understand nothing. No, you don't.
I do
No,
understand,
you
brother.
don't. No, you don't.
Yes, I do. And the Earth is a globe, and 90% of long distance observations match the curvature calculations.
Got to keep it chill. We can't just insult people. Like, sorry, man. I mean, got to keep it chill.
You got rocking. Your mic's open.
So yeah, that ranty thing, I remember it. Like everybody freaked out, right? Like just, I remember the night before he was saying, "Oh, it's all cool and this and that. I'm not gonna." And then the day after, boom, he just came out, and everybody was like, "What? Over a picture?"
Yeah, dude, that was a whole thing that went on for what was that? Like months, it seems, at least 2 months, maybe. It was
Oh
like every
yeah,
day. That was a whole yeah. And all the Globe folks, they went all like, "Oh yeah, he's flipping," you know. It's like one of their first what they thought was like a flip thing, you know, or whatever that was. They made such a big deal of it.
yeah. Flat earthers are wrong. You see, yeah, ranty flipped. Yeah.
I mean, until flat earthers present us a photograph of the entire flat plane, you don't have much to stand on.
Got the whole Earth to stand on, dude.
Oh yeah, this is true. We agree on that. But if you're saying the Earth is entirely flat, you need to show us a photograph with all of the continents. And a composite photo is good. You can do that as well. Composite photos are very beautiful for showing detail on elements of the of the ground and stuff like that, right? So until you guys show something like that, don't have much. Um, even the globe folks had a model until the 1940s. It was just a model. Heliocentric was just a model. But in the 1940s, when the V2 rocket sent back a photo of the Earth's curvature, it no longer was a model. It became an observed fact that the Earth is a sphere or spherical.
All right, dude. So SC, with that photo, the Blackpool Tower one, has that been like are there any like more recent photos of it, or have you heard any like updates on that, or was it just like the ranty thing and it was just over? Like, you know what I mean? Because you don't hear people bring that up as arguments anymore. Have you heard that brought up? You remember? You know what I mean? Have you heard that brought up in years? Like
No,
ever
no.
since ranty, it's like it's not even brought up.
Yeah, I remember it was a big thing, bro. I remember Bev's son took a picture, and that was part of it as well. It was a big story. Like, we have all kinds of photos, and we have all kinds of pictures of the rocks there, and we didn't even get into that. Like, there's a whole thing we can do on that. Maybe we'll do it one day with Bev. But yeah, that was a big story, man. A big. we had memes. We were like laughing for months on this. Like, he was staring at the picture apparently for 200 hours, and yeah, it was a whole scene. Yeah.
Yep, and I mean, basically, what was I going to say? Um, well, I mean, essentially, like, didn't it seem like what it is like a cherry picked photo in which the further the backdrop is lower than it would be if you just do straight planar trigonometry, right? So it's like the mountains in the back are lower than they would be with plane trigonometry, and then it's like a cherry pick of the mountains being lower to then try to claim that that's Earth curve. Is that like your sort of like that photo shows where it's like on different days you can get these, you know, the optical drop effect, especially when objects are at different distances. And then they made such a thing about it, and it just happened to be like this photo, like kind of sort of like you can catch like a shot where the bottom of the hull is covered by the boat, and if you find one that matches the 8 inches per mile squared, you might be able to be like, hey, look, it's Earth curve. Then you look at all the other ones, you're like, oh, it's not consistent in that way. There's obviously an optical effect. So I mean, is that your understanding of this as well? Is that it's sort of a selectively chosen one that correlates with with that lineup to where you can cherry pick it to be claimed that that's curvature?
Yeah. It's basically a visual effect that he, like, for some reason, like, yeah, that's really all it is. Yeah. Like, I remember going over this for months, and to be honest with you, I forgot most of the details because this was like a couple of years ago, you know. But basically, a photographer took a picture. Then Bev's son was a teenager at the time, also took a picture, and various other people, and somehow those two pictures, or like the combination of which he stared at for hours, and he flipped.
Yeah,
That
he would be
shows.
like, it would be in a way equivalent, like, okay, I'm posting this thing again, and we'll leave out the atmospheric magnification part just for the moment, that phrase, but just take like the same location, same elevation, different days. So all that is different days, and then the one on the left there, the picture on the left, oil rig on the right of that left picture is obviously quite a bit lower. Though a picture on the right, the oil rig on the right compared to the one on the left is more equally aligned. So it would be like taking the one on the left and saying, look, that one's dropped. It must be going around the curve of the Earth, globe proven, or, just by looking at the one on the left. But then you look at the one on the right, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not occurring there. So to just look at the one on the left and say Earth globe when it's obviously not consistent and due to a physical drop, it's just like poof, it's just gone. In terms of some kind of isolation or validation of any curvature of Earth with that alone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have pictures, and next time Bev comes, we'll see if we can whip them out. I think I have some of them saved myself. Like he's like 10 miles away, and we can see the base. We can see the base of the stones there that are like, you know what I'm saying? Like right at
Dude,
right edge. Yeah.
I'm not trying to interrupt for a long time, just real quick. I'm about to post it. I think I have, this is one of Bev's.
Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. There it is. That we wanted to go through over this like years ago, but we never got to it. Exactly that, Gio, right there.
Yeah, I was actually on. It was one of the times that I'm trying to think if I was on Bev's show or something. I think I was, and it was a long time ago though. I'm talking like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I was on there, and we were having a good chat about this. And I only saved that one, but I know he had a bunch of other photos too. But I just saved that one, and dude, it'd be interesting to go back and break that down because this was really good. Because I mean, when all that was happening with Ranty and everything, and then Bev was doing observations, right across, to Blackpool Tower, and was already showing how, well, basically there wasn't any curvature, between those sites. There's a lot more to it, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about because it was like this. That was like spot on what Bev was doing because it was sort of like taking other observations in the area and showing inconsistencies with what the globe was claiming, essentially, and how you were not getting the globe curvature between the observation point and the Blackpool Tower area, yet they claim that there was this massive amount of curvature that all had to be accounted for between Blackpool Tower and the mountains. So it's like no curvature on one and then all of it. Yeah, there was a lot to that.
Exactly. That kills the Ranty story that he has in his head. Yeah, I remember that very well. The boys were there back when DP. That picture right there, I think, is an infrared one, if I remember correctly. They have so many pictures of that. Yeah, they did it so many times. Like and I don't know why we never did that, and we called it like the stones, the Blackpool Stone. Yeah, we should do that one day for sure. I mean, that kills their ball, like that just kills it. And at the spot where Randy flipped, that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Okay, one observation kills 25,000 miles of curvature. Come on, brother. Let's be honest. Come on.
Brother, you can believe whatever you want. I mean, the pictures speak for themselves. I mean, wait till you see it. What can I tell you?
Yeah. I've seen long distance observations, brother. I've made long distance observations myself, and you account for things like refraction and these sort of things, observer height, and things are further away than you expect them to be. That's how it goes, right? Refraction is a real thing in our world, and again, the Earth is not a perfect sphere, so there are areas that have less curvature than others, right? But overall, it matches the radius of the planet. That's
No, it
what we've
doesn't.
been trying to tell flat earthers, right?
No,
I have a question for space time. Space time. So you say that refraction is real and it's part of our. Why is it that every time refraction happens, it brings it up to eye level and there's never any distortion in the sky? Now,
Not every time.
what I'm proposing, hold on, let me finish. What I'm proposing is that if, say, 50 miles or 50 feet, 60 feet, 10 miles, it gets pulled up, there would be somewhere in the sky a distortion where that was compensated for. Where, say, a plane flew in and disappeared and 10 minutes later came out the same place. Or, flew in, disappeared, and then right away came out, over there. There would be some kind of visual distortion if refraction were real. Somewhere in the sky. You can't just pull something up 60 feet without compensating for that somewhere, unless it just goes the entire way. But then what happens when you turn around and look the other way? Is refraction's working there too? I mean, it just how do you answer that?
Well, that's not how refraction works. So it's not all the time you can see the medium with your eyes, the medium in which your eye, which the light is traveling. Remember, atmospheric refraction is due to temperature and pressure mostly, right? Temperature and pressure. You can't so when the air has a certain temperature range or there's a certain amount of air causing more pressure, molecules are more denser, right, because of the pressure. These is what causes the light to be refracted. So you can't see distortions that refract.
This
You,
guy's
you,
so
you have to
fucking
understand that.
retarded. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I can't listen to this dumb.
No, everything that I just stated is you can Google it, brother. I don't speak foolishness.
No,
I have
I agree with him. I agree with him. That's just bullshit. You're saying that it moves up 60 feet and the entire sky just shifts 60 feet. And if you turn around, it's refracted anyway, but it shifts the other way 60 feet. I mean, there's no way that you can have refraction. There's absolutely no way that you can have refraction without some kind of visual distortion in the sky.
no,
You
that's
can't.
impossible.
You
No,
can't
that's not
just
true.
shift everything. You can't just shift everything and not have it noticeable somewhere. You can't just say, "Oh, everything shifted over. Everything, even to the east, it shifted over 60 feet. To the west, it shifted over 60 feet. Everything just shifted over 60 feet." That's what you'd have to do.
But
And
that's why the
when you turned
that's why the
around,
black swan. But
if you
that's
were
why
looking
the
at
black swan
refraction to the
platform
east,
is super
let me finish.
distorted.
Let me finish. If you were looking at refraction to the east, you should turn around and everything should be dropped down that 60 feet the other way when you turn around. You shouldn't be able to see anything eye
Why?
level. But that's not how,
Why?
because otherwise you'd have some kind of visual distortion in the sky somewhere.
I mean,
Brother,
that's why the black swan platform that is higher, where you can see further, is super heavily distorted. So both platforms are distorted, and the picture where the platforms are not very much distorted or nearly not distorted, you see the platform is lower.
No, what I'm saying is that 60 feet has to be made up somewhere.
Yeah.
If you
Due to
raise everything up
distortion.
60 feet, it has to raise it up, and there has to be some kind of anomaly to pinpoint that. There has to be. You can't just
it's
move
compressed.
everything
It's not like
60 feet. You can't just move everything 60 feet. You
it's
can't.
compressed. It's not like so the sky has a different angle than light that is going parallel to the Earth. But
And if
you
the light's
see it on
compressed, you
these
would see it.
objects
You would
that
see
are
it.
raised. You see Fata Morgana situations. You see all these distortions on the oil rigs. You can literally see it.
The oil rigs distortion is caused from the diesel fuel exhaust on those platforms, and that's a definite fact. That is, they've got diesel engines running distortion.
Uh-huh.
And those are not the kind of physical. That's not the kind of distortion I'm talking about. I'm saying that 60 feet has to go somewhere. If you raise everything up 60 feet, that
it doesn't
60
go
feet
anywhere.
has to go somewhere. The plane would
No,
have
it
to
doesn't.
disappear, and then 60 feet later, in the same spot, that 60 feet would just be gone somewhere else. Unless you're shifting the entire sky, and you're not doing that. That you can't
No,
even say that you're doing that. That's just ridiculous. I mean, really, what you do really sound like you're just grasping at straws here, because
no.
there's no
It
way
sounds
that you can.
again, brother. You can see an object that is further away than you expected to see it, right? And you can literally walk 100 feet to your right and not see the object, right? It's just that at that spot that you were standing, the atmospheric um, disposition, if you may, of temperature and pressure was just right to slow down the light and bend it towards the observer. When you walk 100 feet to your right, that atmosphere, those conditions are not there. And that is also evidence. It gives you good evidence. And I've seen this, by the way. good evidence that refraction is a real thing in our environment.
Well, I can, every time I look long distance, every time it brings it up to eye level, perfectly flush with the level with the horizon. And I think that's ridiculous to think that that could possibly be real. I really do. It's just magic that every time it brings it up to eye level, never brings it up above eye level, never brings it a little bit below eye level. It always brings it up to perfectly level with the horizon, off in the distance. Every time I look at long distance pictures, every time I look at a long distance picture, I can consistently see too far, consistently see way farther than I should be able to on the globe. Every time. Every time.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen the Chicago skyline images. Sometimes the Chicago skyline is way up in the air. It's like way up above your head. Like, how did that happen? Right? And sometimes the Chicago skyline is upside down. Right? And where I come from, in my country, sometimes I see the boats floating. I see cruise ships. I see oil tankers. They're literally floating, right? From where you're standing. How is that? So the deal is that refraction causes these kinds of distortions, or phenomena in your environment, brother. It's just a thing. Just the light is just right, bounces off, it's reflected. It's doing all kinds of things. I remember the atmosphere is not consistent. The troposphere is 11 miles thick, right, from ground to top, but it is not consistent all the way up. So all kinds of stuff can happen. Check out the Chicago skyline. Just Google those. You will see various. Sometimes it's very distorted. The buildings are just look strange, very shadowy. Then sometimes you can see more detail. Sometimes I say,
but unless it's foggy or there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, you can see it almost every time. On a clear day, you can see Chicago every time. Every time. Whether it's a little distorted or not, you can see it every single time. It brings it up to the horizon level. Every time.
You never see the coastline of Chicago.
Google Superior Mirage of Chicago skyline. Spectacular. It's like upside down.
Yeah, I've seen the mirages where things are upside down before, but the thing is you can clearly see that they're mirage. They don't look like the ones like we're talking about. You can see the waves and all sorts of other distortions when it's a mirage, as opposed to when you're actually looking at something.
That's what the mirage.
I have a lake here that's 10 miles across. I should not be able to go there ever and see across the lake. I shouldn't ever. Once in a great while, maybe refraction would help, but no, I should be able to go there out daily and not be able to see the other side. And I can go there daily and see the other side.
But that's what a mirage is refraction. But anyways, I mean,
but when it happens every day, consistently, how can you say that it is refraction? How can you prove that it's refraction when every single time I look at something at a distance, I can see it consistently in the same spot, looking the same every day, consistently? I can go out to Lake Winnebago and look across the lake, and I can see across the lake every single day. Now that's 66 feet of curvature. I shouldn't be able to see anything except for maybe trees or buildings that are over 60 feet tall. I might be able to see the very tippy tops of them. But consistently, every day I can go out there and I can see across the lake. That is not a mirage. That is not an illusion. That is me seeing across the lake.
Oh, okay. No. This example that you're talking about is your observer height allows you to see that in a consistent manner. So you need to check those numbers. Check where you're standing. Because, you can see objects very, very far away. It's just that your height Again, your observation height allows you to see it, but you'll never see the baseline. So yeah, so check that again,
All right,
and then
I have a challenge. Okay, I will, and I have a challenge for you. I have a challenge for you to find one single video, any single video, one that shows a boat going over the horizon, and then they grab a pair of binoculars or a telescope and they zoom in on it and they cannot see it. I challenge you to find one, just one video, and then send it to me in a personal chat. That's my challenge to you. See if you can find one video that proves that a ship goes over the horizon and they
right.
cannot zoom in on it. Just
Oh yeah, there's
one.
plenty.
That's
There's
all I
plenty of
ask.
those. There's plenty of those. Okay, I'll post it. By the way, the sun is an example of that. But anyways,
Yeah, imagine arguing the Chicago coastline video in 2020 fucking five or
yeah, because it still happens. Even though it's a good thing tourists go to see it. Actually,
Groundhog Day, brother. Groundhog Day.
And you can plan a trip to Notre Dame and watch the sunset behind a mountain 150 miles away twice a year. And you can plan your trip around the refraction of this mountain. So that's convenient.
Yo, Robert, you getting the new the P1100 camera?
I am. As soon as my wife says okay.
well, I don't have any plans currently, but working my way towards these sort of things.
Yeah, man. Then you can go out to the beach and take videos of boats going off onto the flat plain in the distance. And then you can come and argue about how it's the sphericity of the Earth with your own footage.
Yeah, imagine how, such a bad camera, crap camera they call it, right? Made such controversy, yeah? Imagine that, a simple camera. Wow.
Yeah, I remember we used to think that the flat Earth was just a P900 advertisement campaign.
Yeah. You're shilling for Canon, it's a Canon, right? Yeah, it's a Canon.
Nikon.
Oh, it's a Nikon. I even have one. I don't know what it is. Thank you
It's a
for the correction.
decent camera. It's just the sensor is small.
Well, I remember back then it was who had one? It was Jose had one given to him, donated to him. And who else?
Whatever happened to Jose? Whatever
Well,
happened to that guy?
that's an interesting story, right? He went it got to his head, I think, because he had the most popping channel, right? He had like 120 people at one point. And then he started doing some crazy things like having memberships, for example. Like if you pay $300, you become a boss, quote unquote, and you have privileges like to boot people out or just for no reason. And yeah, he started doing crazy stuff like that. Yeah, part of it.
Has he still got a channel or no?
No, his channel got deleted, bro. Now, I think, right, because if you go and listen to some of those streams, bro, you'll blow your mind, like the stuff they were saying back then. So I think they deleted it on purpose. I don't know. You remember QE used to do what was it called? That series, I forgot it, man. The numpties or whatever. The toe tags. Remember the toe tags? QE's toe tags? A lot of them came from back then. They used to say the craziest stuff, bro. like Professor Phil Bell first came on there, and a whole bunch of other people.
One thing I did hear about the P1000 that it can only take a 27-minute video. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that in that chat room this weekend.
Yeah, and then he started like I don't know, man. I don't know why. Like that was strange the way he flipped like that. Jose, I'm talking about. Yeah.
So these DSLRs or other cameras, photo cameras, have a limitation. Typically, I think with 29 minutes, so they are not allowed to do 30 minutes video, because if you allow 30 minutes video, you have to pay licenses as a video camera to the, I don't know, MPEG consortium or something like this. That's why they have firmware limitations up to 29.9
That's
minutes.
interesting. That's very interesting. Thank you. That's cool. I had no idea.
And that's all over, like Canon, Sony, Nikon. That's all these photo cameras. They would just have to pay, I don't know, maybe €100 or dollar more expensive if they were capable of doing that.
And I would be willing to pay an extra $100 to do say a 2-hour video.
Yeah, but who would have thought
So
a camera is powerful enough to zoom into Jupiter, for example? I
well, yo,
remember
how
the
long?
first time I did that, I was like, "Whoa!" I tripped
I
out.
mean, it's not
Yeah.
the best at doing that, but it can.
Well, no, but like
Yeah, it's not a
the
telescope, but you can get your feet wet. Yeah.
I started with it. I mean, it was a P950 that I started with,
Yeah, you got some good pics, bro.
but
Congrats
not
with
with the
your
P900. I
telescope.
can post you the best I got with the P900, but it's really a bunch of pixels with 2 lines. I mean, I was hyped when I did that, but it's shit. Like, do I even have it here?
Started from the bottom. Now you're here.
I mean, yeah, a month later I got the telescope. It was much better, but it was also cheaper than the camera.
Yeah, but Tactical Cat, you don't have to bash all of us. Yeah, we are super happy if we can see a little bit that could be maybe interpreted as a Saturn's ring or so, and you with your equipment are just making fun of us.
No, but even with the beautiful pics, right, of Saturn, Jupiter, right? Like we all see the same things. I remember I was in awe when I first saw the quote unquote planets, right, for the first time. But now, just because you see that and you declare that it's a giant gas ball in a vacuum, right? I can debate you all day long and prove you that that's not
I
possible,
mean, yeah, I'm
right?
a long way from buying a spectroscope.
Spectroscopy, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, check out the footage of the moon I put in the live stream text. It's the video. I was at Union
Yeah, see,
Square.
because I thought that buying like a spectroscope would be, oh, I just need the spectroscope. No, I also need tracking, and tracking for my telescope is like 1,000.
Hold up,
Did
Tag,
you hear
can
Isa
Isa?
there? Yeah.
What?
Do you have Isa muted or something? You talked right through him. It sounded like you couldn't hear him. What were you saying,
I
Isa?
don't know. He might be just low. My Discord's acting out lately. I didn't hear anyone.
You're all right.
Oh, you good? I got the. I just put a video in. You were talking about the P900, and it's. I just put in some footage I took years ago from Union Square. But it's crazy because it starts out zoomed in on the moon, and you don't realize I'm in Union Square, and then it zooms back to Union Square, and then I zoom down to an apartment that's like 14 blocks away. Not even, and fucking, it's just weird because it's like the resolution on the moon is so good, and then I get the resolution on this apartment, and it's like just I just thought it was intriguing when I filmed it at the time.
Yeah, you can do some crazy stuff. I actually got video of Saturn and the ring with the P900.
I think you posted one. It's great.
Like for a $400 freaking camera, that ain't bad at all.
I just thought it was so crazy that you get like such great definition on the moon, It's supposed to be 230 fucking thousand miles away. I don't buy it.
Filming a woman in the shower in that shot, you said.
What was that?
You were filming a woman in the shower in your apartment building.
Oh, is that what she's doing? I don't even know.
No, I don't know, man. Looked like
Yeah, well, that might have been why the cops chased me out of Union Square. I forget. But I just love that camera is so good at shooting on the moon. You know what I mean? Like, you get so close and you're like, it's like right fucking there. And 230,000 miles just doesn't fucking cut it, man. You know, look at that footage. Yeah, I got mad footage of like boats and shit and all that craziness. I just took it all, like I made it unregistered or whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Zooming in 250,000 miles, and some of those craters they say they're 60 miles across. Yeah, that's a tall order there. And I just posted my Saturn footage. Now, how far is that away? Yeah.
I was able to resolve a crater on the moon that's I'm gonna say supposedly 1.7 kilometers. That's my best one.
So we're supposed to
I don't
believe
know what's
that
done in miles.
picture
I
there.
think 2 miles.
Oh, sorry, bro. I thought you were done.
I'm not.
So we're supposed to believe the thing I posted there is a gas ball in a vacuum, millions and millions and millions of miles away, and I zoomed in with my P900. Sure.
Why couldn't you zoom into that? Like,
That's
it
a
was
good
like
pick. That's a good pick.
size of a
Yeah.
rock, maybe, but it's quite big in the model.
No, but brother, it's physically impossible, right? That cannot be.
If you
With
do
what
the
with
angular
that
size
beautiful picture you
calculations,
took there, nice stacking, by the way. That's physically impossible. Like, sorry,
I
man.
did the angular size calculations. They came out to be correct. I could
Yeah,
do
but
that.
if you're gonna say it's like the light traveling all that distance to our eyes, and the Saturn's not really where we actually perceive it to be, because the light's I mean, it's just weird, man. Like the whole idea of the what do they call that? The inverse square law. Like the idea that light can't, like, you guys ask us to believe the most ridiculous shit. It's like light wouldn't. I mean, it's why you guys necessitate the vacuum in space so that the light can travel that far. And then you're like, oh, it's not a vacuum. It's okay. Well, then what the fuck with the inverse square law? You know, it's like this, and then it's like, oh, well, that's counteract. It's just there's always some bullshit. It's like it's just weird to think that you could zoom in from Earth to a quote unquote planet, like millions of miles away. How far away is Saturn?
No idea. Depends. If you mean from Earth, it depends.
From Earth, yeah. Let me see. Where else would I mean?
Google it real
Hold on.
quick, just so people
Oh,
could
yeah.
get an
Right
idea.
now,
What? Yeah.
What is it?
it's gonna give me the closest and the furthest.
Dude, 935. Oh wait,
1,500.
983.95 million fucking miles, and we're zooming in on it on a fucking. You guys, I mean, it's laughable, dude.
Yeah. I was laughing right there.
You
Yeah,
can do the angular size
absolutely.
calculations, and it's gonna come out correct. So big numbers maybe are ridiculous, but if you do the math,
Well, no,
it comes out
you're
to be
just not.
correct.
No. You guys don't factor in dark polarity, and that's why your measurements are all fucked up.
Dark polarity. Yeah, that's got to be it, bro. Or dark refraction. Ooh, dark refraction, bro.
Oh, shut your mouth. That's even better.
Hey, relax.
Yo, Dark Parallax.
Ooh, sexy. Yeah, I like it.
Hold on, even better. What? Hold on, in front of our face the whole time. Dark Gravity.
Well, that's already been done. Yeah, that's already been done.
Oh,
They
wait,
have
hold on. How
dark
about hold on?
gravity.
Yeah, Dark Buoyancy.
Oh, yeah, that's another good one. Yeah, yeah.
Clear
Yeah,
gravity.
right.
Clear gravity.
Clear,
Like a clear
invisible
gravity.
gravity, as opposed to regular gravity.
Yeah, as opposed to the regular stuff.
Oh, it's a quantum entanglement superposition.
There it is. There it is. Yep.
I have to correct myself. The 29 minutes, 59 seconds was not due to license. It was due to tariffs in the EU that had higher kind of income or import taxes on video cameras than on photo cameras. But that was removed in 2019. And that's why some photo cameras, for example, like the Canon EOS R5, which was released in 2020, has not longer that limitation. The Nikon P1100, however, has still the limitation. Maybe because it's too close from the internal firmware to the old one. But since 2019, that limitation or that tax limitation has been dropped.
Ah, interesting. They have. It's weird too. Like, I wonder if Nikon and are they European country or companies? I wonder because there's like I know there's like a kind of like we have like a business
They're Japanese,
like
bro.
oh Japanese. Would
Yeah,
they be a part?
they are all Japanese, basically.
Would
Or
they be
most.
part of the European? Like they probably maybe part of those agreements to be involved in the sales and shit, though. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
yeah, I didn't know they're. That's cool. I wonder if they're just involved in those. I mean, I'm sure they are. You know what I mean? So they
I
can
think that
sell internationally.
the thing is just if you have like 2 or 3 big markets and one big market has a limitation, you would have to make completely different firmware for the one market than for the other, and so on.
Right.
And so I think
Hey, do you know what the there's like a group of it's like a business collective in Europe. I remember I had to write a cease and desist and learn all about it, but it's like there's a group. It's like I don't want to say Miranda, but there's like a like if you're in this group and you violate like a business agreement, you can be sued because you're a part of that group. What the fuck is the name? Nobody knows it here
I
off
don't
the
know.
top. Yeah, I only say that because in light of like the business dealings of those companies, there's like a European group that I could see maybe like having set the standard for that limitation. I'm trying to remember the name.
So how convinced are you, Kat, that that is what they tell you? That nice picture you have there and the video I took. How convinced are you that that's a giant gas ball in a vacuum?
I've got no major reason to believe it's not. I just have to wait till I can afford a spectroscopy setup so that I can technically confirm for myself.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, I
What
got
do
a
you
question.
think you trust? Go ahead.
Well, okay, so do you trust the government to tell you the truth? Do you think the government's always honest with you?
It depends. But the government has little to do with what I see through my telescope.
Right. Well, I mean, because everything you believe is NASA is a government agency, so you're believing known liars on what you know,
I also do have to
what you
trust
believe.
NASA
You
on its
because
veteranness. NASA is not the only space agency.
right, right, but they're all the space agencies are all from the governments, and all governments are known liars. I mean, it's so you're trusting a known liar, and then you're saying instead of like doing actual evidence and like trying to do critical thinking and for yourself, you're like, well, I have no reason not to believe that. is what you say. And I'm just wondering, I mean, for me, that's not an acceptable answer. I don't trust anybody, even somebody that's never lied to me before. And the government, that's all they do is lie to me. And NASA is the government. So I don't, I just don't trust them.
But if I don't want to trust a space agency, I can go ask someone or get information from someone who then personally have a spectroscope and have done the measurements. And those people are not affiliated with any kind of government agency.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's in the US, but as at least the stuff that I know from Europe, most scientists are not working for the government.
That is also true.
Okay, let's say you get a spectroscopic reading of it, right? What then?
Yep.
Let's say it gives you back this gas is coming from it or whatever. What then? Why would that convince you? It's still a gas, right? It's still supposed to form a sphere in a vacuum. I don't get it. What would spectroscopy do for you?
It's just gonna give me the information about what the thing I'm looking at is made out of. The fact that it's a sphere, I already know because of the visual observations of it. So it would really just be so I can confirm that the thing I'm looking at is gas.
So, have you ever took a solar filter and put it in front of gases and got the same effect as you think the sun is? Because if you think the sun is gases in a vacuum, why don't you put some gas in a vacuum, or go to wherever you guys think you produced a little sun and use the solar filter and match it up, like match that little sun up with the
I don't
real.
think I can get any gas in my home to be nearly bright enough as the sun to see through a solar filter.
So you
And
don't know what the sun is. And spectroscopy is pointless because you don't have that gas to reproduce it. Gotcha, brother.
Now the solar filter has nothing to do with spectroscopy.
Yeah, that's
And the spectroscopy of the sun, it's not about like what wavelengths are radiated from the sun. It's the wavelengths that are not radiated, that are kind of blocked by the sun's atmosphere. Therefore, we know which materials are in the sun's atmosphere because there are specific wavelengths that are blocked by specific materials, and these blocking we can reproduce here on Earth. So we know what kind of iron is blocking, what helium is blocking, and so on. And these are these so-called spikes in the sun's spectroscopic spectrum.
Well, most scientists don't work for the government. Most scientists find who they're paying them wants them to find. They don't, they're paid to prove that wheat is healthy for you, that it should be at the bottom of the period. We should eat more wheat than anything else. And then somebody pays them, like General Mills goes out and says that, and then if you can prove this one, my wife would know the guy's name, but somebody from General Mills went and paid the scientists to prove that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. And that's what they did. They proved that breakfast was, they didn't prove whether it is or not. They proved that it was.
They did that with sugar. They've done that with a lot of things. Yeah, like they hire scientists to prove the bias. And yeah, it's an issue, bro.
Yeah, so you can't trust a scientist, whether they work for the government or not, was my point.
Especially when the solar filter doesn't work on any gas anymore. Hydrogen's not hydrogen in the solar filter. Helium's not helium in the solar filter. And the sun just won't be itself.
Hey, can you explain what the solar filter has to do with gases?
Through a solar filter.
It would be really interesting, Demok, that you can explain what the solar filter has to do with that.
Because what are you looking through the solar filter at? What gas again?
You're looking at the sun. You're not taking any measurements of the sun using the solar filter.
So what gas are you looking at again through that solar filter?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So now you don't know what the sun is.
No, measuring, doing spectroscopy has nothing to do with solar filters. That's what we say. Looking to the sun because looking to the sun to see sunspots because it's just too bright. That's what solar filters are good for.
We're asking you what the sun's made out of. You guys are saying you know what it's made out of. We're not talking about sunspots. We're talking about the sun, supposedly made by excited hydrogen fused to helium and making a bright light. So gas, make bright light, solar filter, look through it, sun. Now, if you can go get some helium or hydrogen in a lab and burn them up in your nuclear reactor and get your solar filter and match it up, then I'll believe your guys' lie of spectroscopy. Until then, it's a lie-troscopy.
It
What
has nothing
does
to do with solar
spectroscopy have to
filters.
do? Yeah.
Said the guys who can't match it up with any gas that they claim it is. That's pretty
You're
weird.
just
So if
you're
you got
just spitting out word salad. These
no,
things
that's
that
what
you are
you're spitting.
saying don't have
Spectroscopy is
anything
word
to do
salad.
with each other.
Spectroscopy is word salad, isn't it? Because you don't know what the gas is of the sun and you can't reproduce it. So what's that mean? That
I
means you're
just
right
told
because
you.
you don't know what you're talking about?
I just told you the spectroscopy is not about the wavelengths that the sun is actually radiating. It's about gaps or blocking things in this wavelengths, in this spectrum. And that can be
Spectrum of what?
reproduced very well on Earth.
Spectrum of what?
Spectrum of
The air,
electromagnetic
93 million miles
spectrum
of
of
air you're looking through?
Are you asking or are you just ranting?
The air you're looking through.
Yes, the air is
Which
also
gas are you looking at?
the air we are looking through is also blocking some wavelengths.
That's the
Therefore,
gas
you
you're
get
looking at.
different readings when you are doing
No, Dima,
spectroscopy of the
when you
sunlight
take
down here or in space.
Which
Dima, when you
gas are
take
you looking at
spectroscopic
through
measurements of
93
something
million
electronic,
miles of? Hey, hold on, bro. How much gas are you looking at through all this air? What kind of air are we looking at? What kind of gas are we looking through to see the gas of the sun?
Do you
when you look
asking
at the
what
sun using
gases
a
we are looking
spectroscope,
at or
Yeah,
through
are
which
you looking through
gases we are
hydrogen to see hydrogen? Are you looking through helium to see the hydrogen in the helium sun? Are we in a bunch of hydrogen right now, standing here with some nitrogen and helium, and like, are we in gases looking out of them, but we don't see it?
Just a quick mic check. Can you not hear me or are you just over talking me when I try to answer? Just want to know.
He's just
No,
over talking.
I
D-Mark,
think
settle
I
down,
wasn't
bro.
done. I wasn't done. I wasn't done, and you started talking.
Yeah, I won't
Okay,
have
so
to
you
make
weren't
nobody
done
do it,
after your
so just
question,
one at a
Mark.
time.
Okay.
All right. So just go, Snooze.
I try to understand the questions. Are you asking through which gases we are looking in our atmosphere or to which gases are in the sun?
How do you know what the sun's made of? What is the way you make a little sun by knowing what it's made of? How do you reproduce a sun by you thinking you know what the sun is made of? How did you get that
I
answer?
forgot that
What
Dima
a sun
loves the
is?
sun in a bucket. No, Dima, we cannot give you a sun in a bucket. Let's end this conversation here.
Well,
So how do you know what a sun is?
Hold on, D-Mark. You don't have to repeat yourself over and over. He's just asking how'd you guys determine the makeup of the sun? And it sounds like you guys are insinuating. Hold on, Tactical. Sounds like you guys are insinuating based on your observations, right? You guys are making optical observations to determine the consistency of the sun. That's what DMOC is stressing about. So do you have an answer as to how you determined the makeup of the sun, or is it all speculative in theory?
I just told you spectroscopy. That's the major way that we can do that.
Spectroscopy. So speculative troscopy. Got it.
Jesus, another one. No, spectroscopy is analyzing spectra, hence the spectrum in the word, the first part.
Yeah, I get it, but it's speculative, being that it's not demonstrable. Like, nobody's ever gone to the sun to take a sample to determine or validate. Like, you guys are using spectroscopy, right, in lieu of an actual empirical validation.
Only because two words have four similar letters, these are not the same words. Spectroscopy has something to do with a spectrum.
Yeah, I understand.
Spectrum of light and not with speculations.
I understand that.
So
I
is
was
the
being
sun
funny.
made out of gas or light?
Made of plasma.
So gas or light?
Plasma.
That's what? What's the plasma made of?
Plasma is kind of super hot material where the electrons are not bound to atoms anymore. Therefore, it's the fourth state of material. It's not gas, it's plasma.
Can you solar filter it?
A solar filter is typically just an ND filter, so a neutral density filter that is just reducing all wavelengths of the light at the same amount or roughly the same amount, so that your camera sensor is just not getting burned when you look at the sun. That's the only thing a solar filter is doing. It's reducing the amount of light coming from the sun to your camera sensor. Has nothing to do with spectroscopy.
Can you use it as for welding and get the same effect and make it look like a little sunball?
You can use a solar filter to look at a weld spot. Yes, it will also reduce that. You can also use a solar filter to look at a candle because it will
Will it
reduce
mimic the
light.
sun?
It's just
We're only trying to
reducing
mimic the
light.
sun, plasma of the sun. We want you guys to make some sense. We want to see your plasma ball mimic what the sun looked like.
You cannot create a plasma ball that mimics what the sun looked like here on Earth because you have just not that pressure and not that energy. And no, welding is not the sun. You
So
cannot
the sun
scale it
is,
down.
so the sun's not made of light and gas. Now it's pressure and energy. So
You don't
not
use
plasma.
what?
So not plasma.
Yes,
You
it
keep
is plasma.
describing what the sun is, and none of it. You should just be excited hydrogen, excited to helium, and lights up. Fusion, right? That's what you should be saying every single time. You shouldn't keep adding other stuff like pressure and light. And if the
So
sun is just a light,
the energy of the sun is created
what is
by,
it?
oh God. The energy of the sun is created by nuclear fusion. That causes
Solar
heat.
filter it.
That, oh boy.
We're
So the
looking to prove that. We're looking to prove that nuclear reaction looks like a sun and a solar filter. If it did, you would make sense. I don't get what you're sad about.
Oh my.
You say that's a little sun, but now you can't solar filter the little baby sun. That sounds pretty weird.
The reaction is not.
Whatever. Come on, I give up.
Yeah, me too.
So you don't know what the sun is, and you can't make that gas happen, and you can't mimic hydrogen or helium in a vacuum on Earth. I got you. And out in space, there's no nuclear reactor, right? There's no pressure, right?
You know
Where's
where
pressure
solar
out in the
filters
vacuum?
you know where solar filters would actually be totally useless? On you.
Not in a vacuum
Because
with no
they are used
pressure.
for bright stuff, you know?
Not in a vacuum with no pressure or resistance.
You didn't get that.
No.
Where's the nuclear reactor in space? What's that look like? Show me that. Show me your Space Dragon nuclear reactor. So you don't have any space either, or any vacuums. They don't work anymore either. Every time I ask, all the stuff just breaks down, and spectroscopy doesn't work anymore, and then they don't know anything.
Same way as when people ask you questions, DMOC, or in flat Earth in general.
Did they ask me a question about spectroscopy that I didn't make up? That'd be stupid of them. I didn't make it up.
All right, let's all settle down before we kill the VC.
No, you just got to ask the people what they'll tell you they specialize in or what they know. If I tell you it's something I know and then you ask me, you're going to get a whole different answer. If you ask me something that I didn't even make up and it's something that's Narnia magic, what kind of answer are you looking for? Potato salad?
All right. You want to be the only one talking today, D-Mark?
I guess you do.
I mean, if you want to hear other people talk, you know.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't come in here to hear myself talk.
You're the only one I hear.
Hey,
Yeah.
DMOC, for the past 2 years with your tactics of just sitting here and throwing questions at the Globers nonstop, have you gotten any further in your truth-seeking endeavors? Has this given you any answers whatsoever to the reality that you live in?
To the reality of what?
I'm talking about like progression, like map, model, getting somewhere.
I'll take a look at
I
the
feel
map
like
model.
I'm a flat earther, biblical cosmologist, believe the Bible is 100% true and accurate. And yes, I do feel like I am getting somewhere. I feel like you guys are all indoctrinated by Nazi scientists that came over here after Operation Paperclip and started the globe model. And you guys are all brainwashed. All the Globers are all brainwashed. And I really, really wish that you would
Do you
do
have
some
any unique
research to break
thoughts?
through.
Do you
Guys,
have
one
any
at a
unique
time, dude.
thoughts that aren't repeated ad nauseum by your peers in here, by any chance?
Well, hold on.
A
Let me
Glober's
respond
gonna
to
say
that.
that to me. I
Yes.
go against 90%. I go against 99% of everybody on my thoughts. I think that I look and see, okay, I can consistently see too far. Okay, the stars in the sky are up there 365 days a year. I can easily disprove the heliocentric model. And I go against 99%. You are going with mainstream, everything, whatever
Matt.
you're told from Earth, that's what you're going with. And you're going to ask me if
Matt.
I have any independent thoughts?
Yes.
That's all I have is independent thoughts.
All right,
Matt,
let's
what-
settle
Matt,
down. Hold on, Kong, hold on, dude. You're not just gonna take over the VC, dude. What about you? Why don't you reverse that own question onto yourself, dude? What original thought, invention, or discovery have you came up with outside of what you regurgitate? Hello?
And I discovered the flat Earth
Oh,
sitting
did
in
he
my
run
driveway
away?
watching the stars.
He ran
So-
away. Yeah. It's funny how these guys like to say, "Oh, you're just regurgitating this," or Ken Wheeler, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, dude, we're all regurgitating someone. Unless you've created, invented, or discovered something on your own, we're all just regurgitating what we've aligned with. So I don't understand the question the guy answered or asked, but whatever.
And I disagree with that. It's 7, 8 years ago. I'm not sure. I mean, I've really been bad at dates. I was sitting in my driveway. I was carpooling, and every morning I would sit in my driveway and I was watching the moon. And the moon was not doing. And I was a huge NASA fan. They were my They were my homepage when I turned on the internet. It was NASA picture of the day. I was huge Star Trek fan. It was devastating for me when but the moon wasn't, and I started like doing independent researches. And I didn't go to any flat Earth sites. I didn't go to any NASA sites. The first thing I did was went to skydiving videos. And I was like, oh yeah, there's curve, man. Look at that curve. And then all of a sudden the skydivers would look up and it go, whoa, we live in a bowl. Holy cow. Like,
Oh, he's back. Kong, did you hear the question I asked you? Or you just run away at convenient times so you don't have to answer? Yeah, that's what I figured.
But yeah, no, I came to the flat Earth on my own. Wasn't watching a YouTube video. I was sitting in my driveway. So it was all independent thought that got me here. And I feel that's all I have. I will listen to other people's thoughts. And if it makes sense, I'll do some research, vet it out, and then make a decision on whether, that seems logical or no, that's, like the stars,
How about
same
you,
stars.
NASA?
Any
How about
Globers
you,
in here?
Big NASA show? Hold on, Matt. You're just rambling. NASA, how about you, dude? Have you ever created, invented, or discovered something, or do you just regurgitate what you've been indoctrinated with? Yeah, none of these guys are going to answer, bro. Not one of them has an original fucking thought in their head, bro. They're all NPCs regurgitating globe nonsense.
That empty silence after the question might be what you call a meaningful silence.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If you say so.
That's my favorite response to a well-reasoned
Are you
question.
asking us if we have invented something or what?
Well, Kong tried to ask DMOC, a question, so I just reversed it back onto him in a little bit better articulated way. I asked if he's ever had an original thought of his own that he's not regurgitating, or if he's ever invented, created, or discovered something on his own originally. And just, I don't know, I hear all the Globers just silent.
Okay, so that was only for him. Okay.
Yeah, how about you? Go for it.
I have invented stuff. I'm a software developer. I come up with new shit.
Yeah. What'd you invent?
Different software, different algorithms that weren't there yet.
So a different number or a different collaboration of numbers?
No, has nothing to do with, I mean, in the end, all digital stuff has to do with numbers, but algorithms, functionalities that were not there on the internet now.
So did you
How about
come up with
cosmological?
the idea for an app? Or did you come up with your own idea for an app? Like, oh man, this app would be awesome. You know, and then create
Not
the app.
not an app in that sense, but extensions to apps that were used in the community. Yeah. No, and I have not done any cosmological thing because I'm not a scientist.
Well, that's what the question should be. Like, has anybody here have, because we always talk about this scientific stuff, right? Cosmology and that. Any original thoughts in that? Like, I can give you an example of what I think is an original thought from me, but that's what we're talking about. Like, any cosmological original thoughts. Yeah.
I've personally had plenty, but if you're asking me to repeat it in the room so it could get scoffed at, I'm not going to do that. But I've had plenty of original cosmological thoughts, ideas, perhaps. Let me give you one for example. Now, this may be utterly useless and not real, but for example, the idea is that the planets that we're looking at, for example, let's say we look up and see Jupiter, for example. When we're looking at it, we think it's like a spherical convex planet, but really what it is, it's essentially some higher dimensional field going on where from our perspective it looks like this, but as you go closer to it, it's like a peephole. It's like a literal portal into space-time where you go into a concave planetary containment when what the planet we're looking at is actually the inside portion of it.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense. I'll give it to you, Dong.
And I went further into this and trying to visualize it and various things like that. So that's one example.
Yeah, it didn't really make logical sense to me. But
I know. Here's another one. Here's another one that you guys certainly haven't ever thought of. I have a concave cosmology with Big Bang, a Kerr-Newman black hole at the center. It's a charged rotating black hole, which gives the universe charge and rotation. And the concave Earth is one of the outer shells outside of this rotation dynamic. Everything is properly precise. That's another one you guys haven't had. So
magic.
So whoever posed this question, I know I originally posed it to the biblical person, but I think it was countered in low energy from Dice Low to myself. There's your answer, bud.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give it to you. You know, it sounds fairly original. I mean, it's not practical or logical, but that's fine. I mean, you know, they can't all be winners, right? But you tried, and I got to give it to you. So there you go.
Thank you.
Why do you always have to have a non-existent thing, like if something to like make your thing real too, like the concaveness? Why? Like, couldn't it just be concave dirt and holding the stuff in? And like, why do you need little black holes in the center of your ball Earth? That's weird.
Okay. Cool story, bro.
Hey, Dyslo, would it count if you come up with an experiment or something and then you research it and then you figure out that somebody else has already done it? Would that still be original if you didn't know of the existence of the experiment before or the calculations or web page?
Technically not,
Cool.
but at the end of the day, dude, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are capable of actually thinking on their own,
Yeah.
right?
So
Coming up with their own ideas, their own thoughts, and or trying to make better sense of another thought or idea that's come up with, right? Trying to further things. Like it
yeah,
just
I agree.
seems like a lot of the Globers just keep to a rigid position that they've been indoctrinated with and are incapable of perceiving any other possibility outside of that. So yeah, I mean, I would give you credit for that for sure.
Yeah. So, for example, something that I was looking up, I don't know, a few weeks ago. We discussed it here already. Is a little bit like this geostationary satellites and triangulating them. So like figuring out where they are in the sky and then looking on what shape that would fit. So I researched in the internet, like there's a database with these satellites, and you can figure it out. So, for example, I knew some satellites here in Europe, and then I thought, okay, it should be possible to visualize that and then pick some locations on Earth, because I mean these are not lights in the sky. Like these are man-made objects that are sending television signals, for example. And if you direct your satellite dish to them, you get a signal. If you are off by, let's say, a degree or so, you don't get it. So you can pretty accurately pinpoint the center of that signal, so you know where the satellite is related to your position.
And that's not bouncing off of anything. It's just direct line of sight.
Yeah, maybe if it's bouncing up, but still you can orientate your dish to the direction where the signal is coming from. So you definitely know the position where the reflection happens, if it is a reflection.
Okay.
So, and then you can look it up. You can go to Google Maps, find out a city or a coordinate where you know a house or something like this, and then there actually, I was a little bit surprised that this is already there in the internet. But Walter Bislin has a lot of these simulators, and he also has one for geostationary satellites. So you can fill in all these coordinates where you are, where your satellite dish is looking to, and then do another location, and then you can see, does it work on an AE map or does it work on a ball? And you can do it for everywhere in the Earth, and you always find that on the ball it works. So that was something that I was researching, and I have never heard an explanation why it works and why the other thing is not working.
If you're talking about the paths of satellites, yeah, there's definitely something on Shane's database that covers that quite thoroughly.
No, I'm not talking about the path. I'm talking about the position of geostationary ones. They are stationary.
Oh, yeah,
They are not changing their position.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely something about the geostationary satellites on there too. It's not coming back to me right now, but I could probably find it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it might be easy to try to prove you're biased, to a degree until other information presents itself. But unless you're looking for the alternative information, right, to be honest with yourself and make a rational, logical determination as to the true answer or which answer is most accurate, like then you're just going to be left with, patting yourself on the back, saying you confirmed your narrative. So you always got to look for those alternative answers, right? That don't align with your presumption. So I would challenge you to look into what he suggested in terms of what the information Alan's provided on that topic, and see if it comports with your narrative, or if there's some unforeseen variables there that you didn't account for possibly.
Yeah, if anyone could post it, would be nice.
Yeah, I don't really hang out in that server too much, so Angling and Alchemy would have to do it.
What's that?
Oh, he's looking to see if you could send him some information on that topic.
On the geostationary satellite? Yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
But meanwhile, yeah, I don't know. It seems like sometimes people like are afraid to do like an internal critique or challenge their, their presumptions in a countering way. But
This is
I
all
don't
I
know.
do full time for myself is challenge my own beliefs. I enjoy holding things in consideration. For me, I don't even 100% think Earth's concave. I'm undecided is my official stance. And even if it was, I really enjoy questioning, playing devil's advocate, holding things to the fire. Let me give you an example. Concave Earth, the mainstream theory makes claims that there's literal glass in the sky, right? I enjoy testing that out. Oh, there's glass in the sky. Okay. Te- um, Looking at videos and on and on and on. And I, rather than try to only look at proofs that, oh, look, there's glass in the sky. Here's a 20 list. I like to go further. Proofs that there isn't a glass in the sky. Okay, maybe if it isn't a glass, could it be?
Well, real quick,
Yeah.
yeah, real quick before you beat up a straw man, too bad. I don't think it scripturally says that there is literally glass in the sky. They compare it to the likeliness of it, or it's alike to, like a sapphire is what I've often heard.
Sorry,
So
I said concave Earth's mainstream idea, like concave Earth, not biblical. So like
oh, I didn't know
yeah,
concave had glass.
yeah.
Bad.
There's there is. So yeah,
Interesting.
that's basically the thing. Like if it's not glass, and then I like to start thinking about, oh well, that's weird. Glass, like nature doesn't do that. Where do I see glass in nature? But I do see like pressure gradients of like maybe it could be something else, and question and but actually do work, not just sit here and oh there's glass in the sky and I have doubt and then nothing else.
There is glass in
And
nature, by the way.
yeah, and
I don't know if there's a lot of it, but I do know one spot. But that is interesting. Glass in nature. Supposedly, yeah, there's like this desert valley floor that
yeah,
at some
there's
point.
that it's called the fuck, what was it called, Des Valley Glass. Um,
Yeah, but they experience some sort of like extreme
You- You're talking about the
energy
vitrification.
vitrification. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, where
Is that what you're
rock is
saying?
like ultra heated to the point where it's like glass like.
Right.
You ever see the lightning
Yeah.
strikes when it hits a desert sand? You ever see what that looks like?
Nope.
Freaked out, man. Google it.
Just tell me, does it turn the sand into glass?
Yeah, and weird shapes. Yeah, all kinds of weird shapes. Yeah.
What kind of shapes?
I'll try to find a picture. Hold on.
Are they consistent shapes, or is it just like everything's unique?
If I remember correctly, they look like like the river, like leaf shapes. That Fibonacci kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Let me see if I
Like
can find
patterns.
one. Yeah, yeah.
I'm still fucking tripping on what Netanyahu said in that speech about flat earthers being compared to terrorists. Can't believe that.
Yeah, that's trippy, bro. Yeah, that's tripped out.
Yeah. I'm like, of all groups, right, to try to pigeonhole alongside of terrorists, dude, like Hamas, it's just it's so strange to me. And then with the whole meltdown we had the other day, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's really bizarre.
Super meltdown.
Yeah,
Well, and
that was
most,
gnarly.
and that's weird because most Torah observant people do believe in biblical cosmology. So that's a weird thing for him to say.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah, I
an attack,
didn't even think about that point. What's up,
kind
Bessie?
of an attack on the truther movement. That's the third president now that's made comments about flat earthers.
Yeah, yeah, like prior to them like wanting to actually come out and use that term or verbiage, it was yeah, it was like the misinformation issue that they were projecting for a while. And then it somehow morphed, and like I haven't really heard too much about misinformation. Now it just seems like it's being labeled flat earth. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's what they meant the whole time, or maybe I'm looking too far into it, but
Yeah, but we got guys spectroscopy and rainbows. And then if you didn't write the story right, you didn't write the book, you didn't write the map, you didn't draw the pictures for it, you didn't go and carry out the orientation. Like, what are all these people even standing up for anyway? A lot of these people are standing up for something they had no part of. They don't even know what the part of it was when the guy wrote it down and they couldn't talk to him to figure it out anyway.
well, that's the thing, people oftentimes are willing to stand up for what they believe in, you know, um, as if they're defending themselves, right? And that's why I say it's like real dangerous when you start identifying with your beliefs to the point where anyone who says anything contrary to what you believe in, you take personal offense to. Like, it's very dangerous.
It kind of comes back to what you guys were talking about earlier with like original thought, and we always seem to adopt what came before. It's like you have to sort of truly be disconnected to be able to have original thought.